Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today I'm going to give my review of Monday Night Raw. Starting off tonight, we have Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is joined by Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and the seemingly new addition, Bronson Reed. They all come out to the ring. Heyman grabs the microphone. He hypes up Braun Breaker. He says Breaker is the future of WWE and that he will be in the main event scene for the foreseeable future in WrestleMania. He also talks about the Steiner bloodline, if you will. So I thought that was interesting. Heyman hypes up Bronson Reed, says he's an indestructible force. Heyman then talks about Reed, like I said, being a force to be reckoned with. Heyman then praises Rollins, saying that he is the visionary of professional wrestling. Heyman then wants fans to acknowledge Rollins. Fans start chanting OTC as well as CM Punk. Rollins then talks about his vision and what he wants to happen in WWE. Rollins says that he talks about the Money in Bank and that he will be qualifying for the Money in Bank and going on to the Money in Bank to secure the Money in the Bank briefcase to challenge for either the Heavyweight Championship or the Universal title. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match of the night. It's a triple threat matchup for the Money in the Bank qualifier. It is Penta taking on Chad Gable as well as Dragon Lee. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Penta, Gable, and Lee, with Penta keeping the pace of the match. Gable then attacks Vikingo, who was sitting in the crowd ringside. Gable and Penta then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Lee hitting a power bomb on Chad Gable in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Gable then hits a moonsault on Penta. Vikingo then attacks Chad Gable. Penta then hits a Mexican Destroyer on Dragon Lee. Penta then hits a Penta Driver on Gable, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and moving on to the Money in the Bank ladder match, is Penta. Hats off to Penta for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have Rusev taking on Tozawa. I thought it was an okay matchup, glorified squash, with Rusev keeping the pace of the match. Rusev quickly applies an accolade on Tozawa. Referee sounds for the bell, and your winner of the match is Rusev. After the match, Rusev does not let go of the accolade, but instead he's interrupted by Sheamus. Sheamus comes out to the ring, seemingly to save Tozawa, but Sheamus and Rusev get face to face. Thought that was some interesting stuff there between Rusev and Sheamus. Moving on from that, we have a triple threat tag team matchup for the World Tag Team titles. It is the New Day defending the World Tag Team titles against the War Raiders and American Made. I thought it was a good match, back and forth matchup between the New Day, the War Raiders, and American Made, with the New Day keeping the pace of the match, and Xavier Woods ultimately hits a roll-up, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match, and still, World Tag Team Champions are the New Day. Hats off to the New Day for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Jey Uso segment. Jey Uso comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, he talks about beating Logan Paul at Saturday night's main event, but Jey is quickly interrupted by Gunther. Gunther comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Gunther congratulates Jey for the Usos being in WWE for 15 years. Gunther says that Jey is not a great champion or championship material. Gunther says that he is taking his title back. Jey says that he is going to make Gunther tap out once again. Looks like there's some unfinished business here between Jey Uso and Gunther, in fact, will be the next challenger to Jey Uso's World Heavyweight title. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is the return of Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was out shooting a movie. She returns to Monday Night Raw last night. She takes on Kairi Sane. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Morgan and Sane, with Morgan keeping the pace of the match. Morgan then hits a code breaker on Sane for a near fall. Kairi Sane then hits an Alabama slam on Liv Morgan. Roxanne Perez is here. She attacks Kairi Sane, but then Liv Morgan then goes for an Oblivion, but Kairi Sane hits a roll-up on Liv Morgan, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Kairi Sane. Hats off to Kairi Sane for getting the win in that matchup. Moving on from that, we go into we have a Lyra Valkyria segment. She comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. She mocks Becky Lynch. Valkyria says that she has talks about Money in the Bank. Becky Lynch then is here. Lyra mocks Becky Lynch. Lynch mocks Lyra. Lynch says that she is the best thing to has ever happened to Lyra Valkyria. And it looks like we are getting another match between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Moving on from that, we go into the main event of Monday Night Raw. It's a triple threat match for the Money in the Bank qualifier. It is Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor as well as Sami Zayn. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between Rollins, Baylor, and Zayn, with Rollins trying to keep the pace of the match. Dominic Mysterio comes out to the ring. He brings a chair to the ring. Rollins then hits a foot stop using the chair that Dominic brought into the match. Pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and moving on to the Money in the Bank is Seth Rollins. After the match, CM Punk's music hits. He comes out to the ring. While Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed go after CM Punk, who they thought was coming out through the entrance ramp. But instead, Punk pretty much climbs from underneath the ring. He jumps in the ring, attacks Seth Rollins from behind. Breaker and Reed then chase after CM Punk. CM Punk's in the crowd, pretty much mocking Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw before I get out of here. Number one, was it a great show? No, it's not. It was not a great show. I think the biggest highlight, the biggest elephant in the room, we always get the return of Liv Morgan. She's been off the scene for a little bit. You know, she was shooting a movie. She's back now in the fold of Monday Night Raw, which is great. Looks like she has some unfinished business here with Dominic Mysterio after what's been going on between Roxanne Perez and Dominic Mysterio. Looks like Roxanne Perez is trying to wiggle herself into the Judgment Day. So there might be a conflict of interest there between Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. We also get Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman he kicks off the show with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. A lot of people were wondering why Bronson Reed seemingly has joined Seth Rollins in this new faction, but it looks like Paul Heyman is the one that's pulling the trigger, if you will, on these new recruits. And Paul Heyman, he hyped up Braun Breaker, said that Breaker is the future of this business. He also praises Bronson Reed by saying that Bronson Reed is an indestructible force and a force to be reckoned with on Monday Night Raw and of all WWE. So it looks like Heyman is starting to put the pieces in place to basically have a Dangerous Alliance 2.0. And Seth Rollins is going to be the leader at the helm. Looks like he's going to be going to Money in the Bank. He will be in the ladder match. It looks like Seth Rollins is going to do whatever he can to get that money in the bank briefcase so he can cash it in whenever he wants or whatever he chooses to cash it in, on whether that's John Cena or the current World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso. And it looks like Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed want to take over not only Monday Night Raw, but WWE. So some interesting stuff there that happened on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, it wasn't the greatest show, it wasn't the best Raw, damn sure it was not the worst Raw. But my standpoint's been the same on Raw and SmackDown, man, as the past few weeks. The shows haven't been that great. If you guys go back and watch Saturday Night's Main Event, which I don't recommend, but if you do, it was very commercial heavy. I told you guys when I did a review for Saturday Night's Main Event that, I think WWE had made pretty much their entire ad revenue for the entire year of 2025 alone just with Saturday Night's Main Event, with the amount of ads and commercial breaks they've had throughout that entire show. I think there was about 30 minutes alone just of the wrestling on that show. I think it was a 2-hour show. We only got 30 minutes of wrestling in total, so that's a big deal. The other thing I will take notice about with Monday Night Raw as of late, especially specifically Monday Night Raw, it's very celebrity heavy. You had some comedians in the house for Monday Night Raw last night. You had musicians in the crowd as well. It's very celebrity heavy, and it seems like that's happening week in and week out with Monday Night Raw ever since they started this Netflix era for Monday Night Raw. Which, look, man, for what it's worth, I'm not against it, but I think it's something that they should save for these special events, specifically PLEs. I think that would work better for WWE, especially with these PLEs, these special events that WWE puts on month in and month out, rather than seeing these celebrities show up every single Monday Night Raw. It just gets old. It kind of takes away from the show, to be honest with you. I mean, it gets old, man. I think that's another downfall for WWE right now, is the amount of celebrity appearances that we're getting. But again, it's one of those things where, not only that too, if you look at Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, man, you want to talk about the well running dry. I'm already tired of seeing Becky Lynch, and she's only been back since WrestleMania. It's not the heel run for Becky Lynch. It's not working out. I know what they're trying to do. It's setting up a Bayley versus Becky Lynch match, possibly happening at not even Money in the Bank, possibly at SummerSlam. So, I don't know, man. To me, it's the Becky Lynch heel turns. It's not working. She's not Seth Rollins, to be honest. So it doesn't really come off organically, to be honest with you, where Seth Rollins, it's more organically. Seth Rollins has been a heel. He's also been a prick as well. So it's more organic for Seth Rollins to be a heel rather than a babyface, to be honest with you. So, Becky Lynch being a heel, I feel like it's a forced narrative. It's not organic. It's just, and we're tired of seeing the Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria matches. I mean, Lyra herself said alone that she's already beat Becky twice. I mean, why are we having another match between Becky and Lyra Valkyria? What's the point? I just feel like it's one of those filler matches that we just do not need. Now, with that being said, do I think she's putting more work in with the Women's Intercontinental Championship than Zelina Vega is doing with the U.S. Championship? Yes, I do. I do. There's actually a storyline for Lyra Valkyria and the Women's Intercontinental Championship right now compared to Zelina Vega and the Women's U.S. title. There's no storyline at all for Zelina with that Women's U.S. title compared to what Lyra Valkyria is doing with the Women's Intercontinental title. To be honest with you, I mean, there's a story. There's a story here between Lyra and Becky Lynch. There's nothing right now going on for Zelina Vega. So, I mean, I don't know, man. We got the triple threat tag team matchup with the New Day, the War Raiders, and American Made, where the New Day were successful with the roll-up from Woods, and they retain the the tag team world titles, or the world tag team titles. But my standpoint's the same with the New Day, man. The New Day, to me, it's just, it ain't hitting no more, man. Unfortunately, I think for the New Day, I don't even know if there's a chance for a reset button for the New Day. I don't know. I was kind of hoping they were kind of going forward with the Big E situation and bringing Big E into the fold a little bit or something like that. I mean, obviously that's not happening right now. But the tag team division on Monday Night Raw, man, it's shitty, to be honest with you. Compared to, I think SmackDown, to be honest with you, I had to compare which tag team division was better, whether it was Raw and SmackDown. I have to give it to SmackDown. With the Street Profits, you got Los Garza. You also got the newly acquired Faxium from NXT, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. They're a great tag team. You got the Motor City Machine Guns as well. It's a solid tag team. You also got DIY with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. So, I mean, I think the tag team division over there is a lot more suitable, if you will, than it is on Monday Night Raw, where Raw is just a standard. You might get a Judgment Day, you got the War Raiders, you got the New Day, American Made. It's kind of very lackadaisical. The other thing I want to talk about, too, before I get out of here, man, is Worlds Collide. Now, they are announcing matches for Worlds Collide. I know there was a six-man tag team matchup. I know Legado del Fantasma are in a six-man tag team matchup against, I think Dr. Wagner. I might be butchering these names, so I apologize. Pagano. And there's another name I forgot, and I do apologize. But I know there's a six-man tag team matchup that's happening at Worlds Collide with Legado del Fantasma being involved. I also know that it was also announced that it would be Chad Gable taking on Vikingo as well on this Worlds Collide event. I'm sure there's going to be more matches to be announced. There's only 2 matches so far, I think, that are announced for this card for Worlds Collide. I think it starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, June 7th. It's the same day as Money in the Bank. And from what I understand, this show will not be on Peacock. It will not be like a PLE. This actually will be showcased, from what I understand, from what Michael Cole was saying. This will be actually showcased on WWE's YouTube channel, which I thought that was kind of a change of pace. And I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I think it's a great thing for WWE to do, to kind of get their feet wet as far as getting the crowd reception of how they're going to take this, working relationship, or you will, or this new, thing they have here with AAA. So I think it's great. I think it gets eyeballs on the product. It gets a feel, if you will, if the fans are gravitated towards this Worlds Collide event, and how the fans are going to, how they're going to feel about the AAA talent and vice versa. So, I mean, we're going to see how this is going to play out. I mean, I think Vikingo and Chad Gable is going to be an incredible match. The six-man tag team matchup with Legado del Fantasma being involved is going to be a really good matchup as well. Like I said, I'm sure there's going to be some more matches to be announced. And I'm pretty sure Worlds Collide is probably going to take us right into Money in the Bank, which is probably roughly a start time of 7. Or at least the kickoff starts at 7, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm excited. I think it's a great thing for WWE to obviously broaden their horizons. Obviously, the working relationship they have right now with TNA is very, very good. It's working out very well. I think they just had WWE's NXT Battleground, if I'm not mistaken, here this past weekend. And seemingly, it seems like an NXT talent, Trick Williams, from what I understand, is the current TNA World Heavyweight Champion, with Trick Williams beating Joe Hendry at NXT Battleground. So now NXT... Trick Williams is now currently the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So you have an NXT talent for the first time ever being a TNA World Champion, and that talent still being under the WWE umbrella. So this is a big deal. This is a huge deal for NXT, TNA, and just WWE in total. This is a big, big deal. We're also, I think, Mike Santana. If you guys don't remember who Mike Santana is, he used to be tag team partners with Ortiz, with Santana and Ortiz. Most known, a lot of people know him from AEW. Looks like Mike Santana is going to make his NXT debut this Tuesday on NXT on the CW network. So I'm it's going to be great, man. I think this is something that's really profitable for both companies, especially TNA, and it's working out great. It really is working out great. I love the fact that TNA and NXT are working together, pretty much every single week. You got, different talents floating back and forth from each brand. TNA, superstars are also part of, NXT pay-per-views, as well as TNA, NXT superstars are part of TNA pay-per-views. So it's working out very, very well for both parties involved, and it's great to see. It's definitely exciting. So it's going to be interesting to see how this AAA thing works out as well, with the Worlds Collide event. So I'm looking forward to that. I will be doing a review for Worlds Collide as well, or at least give you some kind of review for Worlds Collide. But there'll definitely be a review for Money in the Bank, like I've always done. So, I'm excited, man. But I will say this, like I said, when it pertains to Raw and SmackDown, things need to pick up the pace. I know we just got the return of Cody Rhodes. He's been off the scene. He returned to Saturday Night's Main Event. He attacked John Cena once again. And it looks like at Money in the Bank, it will be, in fact, Cody Rhodes teaming up with the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso, taking on John Cena and Logan Paul at this year's Money in the Bank. So we're going to see how that plays out. It looks like Cody Rhodes has some unfinished business here with John Cena. And we're going to see what happens with Cody Rhodes. Is he going to have to climb back up the mountain again to be the new number one contender to John Cena's world title? Is this something where they're grooming Cody Rhodes to chase the world title? And eventually Cody Rhodes will be the last person that John Cena faces before his retirement, his last match before he retires, where Cody Rhodes does beat John Cena, and Cody Rhodes once again becomes Universal Champion. So there's still a lot of things being played out, man. You know what I mean? And you can start to see some things unravel slowly but surely. So it's exciting, But like I said, the big negative I would say about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown is that, it needs to pick up the pace, to be honest with you. I'm kind of getting tired of the celebrity appearances all the time, man. It kind of takes away from the show itself. I also look forward to what's going to happen next with Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. I think what Paul Heyman is doing is incredible. I think it's funny in a way that, you have Seth Rollins saying that he's an innovator and he's the future of this company. He's a great mind for the business. Well, you can probably say the same thing about Paul Heyman, man. That guy has a great mind for the business. He's an innovator. He's very creative in what he does, and Paul Heyman he's that guy. Paul Heyman is a guy that knows talent, and he knows how to build a propelling storyline, and he does that year in and year out. Look at what he's done with the Bloodline. Look what he's doing now with Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman's doing his thing, and I respect the hell out of Paul Heyman and what he's done throughout his entire career as far as being a promoter. Obviously what he's done with ECW, what he's done with other talents, being on commentary at one time, and and what he's done for a lot of talents. He's really sought out a lot of talents and put a lot of talents on the map. So I got to give a lot of praise to Paul Heyman and what he's done in WWE, man. And I look forward to what's going to happen next with those guys. What happens next with Heyman, Rollins, Reed, and Breaker. Because right now, on paper, they are the strongest faction right now on WWE television. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic.